Prithvi, once again, welcome to Cinema Express.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh, so, so when I saw the trailer, I told Ravi sir that this reminded me of those old Priyadarshan comedies that which we all love, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I imagine we'll be getting to see you exercise your funny bones before Bro Daddy itself.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. I just personally think that Brahman is a bit funnier than Andhadhun. It might be a
Okay.
case of me being able to relate to the Malayali humor more. It might be a case of
Yeah.
me understanding the language better. But to me, it
Yeah.
seems like Sharath has written a more funnier version, an adapted version
Mm.
of the original. And Ravi Kishan was
Yeah.
also, so Ravi Kishan was also very particular that it has to be the layer of the black humor has to be, present throughout the film, and he's managed it wonderfully well. And also, I think the film is a
Yeah.
bit more wicked in the sense that the characters, the world they live in, I think it has a little bit
Yeah.
more of an edge. So yeah, I mean, it's a funny, entertaining, engaging watch for even those who have seen the original. That much I know for sure. So
Yeah. Uh, like we all know your talent for humor, right? I mean, there is a wonderful example in Amar Akbar Anthony itself. So I'm like wondering why that side of yours isn't explored more. Is it because you don't get enough? I mean, approached with enough comedies?
yeah, I mean, as an actor, you only do what the script and the director demands of you. So, in
Yeah,
the fact of the matter is that I haven't heard a funny comic script that excited me as an actor till uh, Brahmam, and of course, I've just directed and acted in a film with Mr. Mohanlal called Bro Daddy, which I think after a long time is one of those, proper like comic films. When I say comic films, it's not one of those slapstick comic capers. It
yeah,
is just a light-hearted candy floss piece of cinema that makes you smile, and I
yeah,
think
yeah,
that in itself is an art form that's gone missing from Malayalam. So
yeah. I mean, my favorite scene in Amar Akbar Anthony is that like when you guys are waiting in the queue for the movie ticket and you start doing that
yeah,
lalette and the walk. you know,
yeah, yeah.
did you get to do something like that in Bro Daddy as well?
You'll have to find out after watching the
all
film.
right, all right, cool. Like people say that humor is very tricky to pull off, but I think black humor is even more trickier, right? And
Yeah,
like a lot of things that in Malayali audiences find weird, like what they do in international cinema. Sometimes it's difficult to pull off, like Double Barrel, which I enjoyed.
yeah,
It's a great example of that, right?
yeah,
So, like, say for example, that scene in Pulp Fiction where something terrible happens to Ving Rhames, and then
yeah,
immediately after he tells Bruce Willis, let's keep this between us.
yeah,
I don't want
yeah,
you to tell this to anybody else. Like
yeah,
I sometimes wonder whether like if you bring a situation like that in Malayalam cinema, would it work?
yeah. So I just think that humor works best when it is relatable.
Mm,
If you want people to smile or laugh, it should firstly they should feel involved with the situation.
mm,
And the moment the situation becomes alien,
mm,
the situation becomes something that they can't really relate to, then you're
mm.
going into you're then trusting slapstick. Then it has to work
Yeah,
at a slapstick level, at a Tom and Jerry level, where
yeah,
there's this physicality with the humor involved, and you see people falling down and all that, and then you laugh. Or else
yeah,
in real life situational humor, I think it works best when people relate to it. And that's, I
yeah,
think, a strong point of Brahmam, because you introduce these characters and then you follow their journeys, and at some point you start relating with what they are going through. uh,
mm,
there are moments in Brahmam that come across as genuinely funny, because it's very relatable. By then you've associated yourself with the character, you know what he's going through. So
mm,
you know that this is funny, you understand what he's thinking, so it is funny to you. So
mm.
that is when it becomes really funny. So yeah, I mean, in that way, I think that's where the mastery of Srinivasan sir and Priyadarshan sir,
Yeah,
Satyanandika sir, and all come through. So
yeah. Yeah, that's what, like, 80s and all, they used to churn out a lot of comedies. And,
yeah,
like, I mean, most of them are good. Like, 98% of them are good. Like, but that doesn't
yeah.
happen these days. What do you think that is? Is it because of the audience taste, or is it some other factor also involved?
I also think that it is a product of the times, because
Mm,
cinema was more often than not a reflection of the social mood that we exist in.
yeah.
I just think there was a lot of satire and sarcasm that our lives were involved with in the 80s, in the heights of unemployment, and when our issues were a lot simpler actually. So right now it's become such a complex existence that cinema tends to find inspiration from more darker, more sober pieces of society and stories. But I'm hoping that it'll change. I'm hoping films like Brahmam and Bro Daddy and all sort of reawaken a trend. I just listened in like what 1 hour back. I just listened to something from director Shafi, which genuinely made me laugh. So yeah, let's hope it's the trend comes back.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of today's writers tell me that they're worried about what like what to write, because there's always at the back of the mind, what social media response is going to be, once the film comes out. That's kind of limiting their imagination. I imagine that doesn't happen for you.
I don't know if it is happening. It is happening at a subconscious level, or else it is not happening. So yeah.
Okay, but you go ahead and do it anyway. Like whatever the script, if the script is something that you enjoy, like
by now you should know that about me.
Yeah, that's right. So like this, I have to come back to Double Barrel actually, because it's one of the most wackiest, like unhinged work of comedy that we've seen. But not many enjoyed it, like I did, or some of my friends did. So is that discouraging for filmmakers in Malayalam, or specifically you?
Well, I'm okay because I'm used to failures as much as I'm used to successes, so that I'm okay. I tried a film, it didn't work, that's fine by me. But like you said, it's a film that I also enjoyed. I still enjoy it. I mean, even the last time I was at Lijo's house for an evening, we still watched a couple of reels of Double Barrel, so it's a film that we keep going back to. So it's something that I really like. It's a piece of cinema that I really like. What is sad is not particularly that film did not work, which happens. Some films do not work, some films work. But it's just that if you imagine a scenario where Double Barrel had worked, it was a commercial success, I think it would have started off a whole new trend, and that would have been a very interesting world to be living in as an actor, as a director, as a producer. It would have been a very interesting offshoot of comic cinema that we would have really gone down the comic graphic novel route and all that, which would have been great. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. I'm still hoping at some point, that trend takes off. So
yeah, I think we would be seeing a lot of Guy Ritchies in Malayalam itself, like
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the thing. And I heard that Unni Mukudan in this film is quite funny. Even in the trailer, I get a small hint of that deadpan delivery, and like how was this interaction between your characters in the film?
Yeah, so Unni and I know each other for quite a while now. He's a friend. We keep in touch. And when we were discussing casting for this film, I think the moment we said Unni, everybody immediately agreed. And I was quite happy that when we presented the opportunity to Unni, he grabbed it, because he immediately knew that this is something that he has not done before. And I genuinely like his performance in the film. I think he's great in the film. I think people will enjoy watching Unni in the film. Having said that, I think people will enjoy watching all the actors in the film. Everybody's quite good. Unni, Mamta, Rashi is a very good actor. Jagdish Etan, and Shankar Etan. So it's a group of actors that have been, I think, cast quite well. And because of how well cast the film is one of the reasons why the film works to me. And that is one of the reasons even Andhadhun worked, if you ask me. So
yeah. So like when you look at the remakes, I mean, this is of course a remake of a very successful film. Now that some of your characters are being remade into other languages, how do you feel about that? Like Ayyappan Goshim, or
It's great. I mean, it is great to be part of content that travels. Ultimately, that is one of the aspirations behind all content creators, that when you're involved with making a piece of art, that it traverses boundaries, it finds acceptance, outside your linguistic borders and all that. So films like Ayyappanam Koshim being made in so many different languages is a sort of justification of your belief in that piece of cinema, in that piece of content. And I think that is going to be one of the main ways for Malayalam cinema to now, start growing. When our cinema starts finding acceptance at national levels, down the line, you're looking at Malayalam IP rights in a completely different light. So it's one of the arenas that I think Malayalam cinema now needs to learn to explore.
So Brahmam is coming out in GCC and OTT simultaneously. Could you tell us about how that would be beneficial, to the industry? Or
So I mean, see, firstly, if theaters are back up and running 100%, then things are back to normal. Brahmam would have been a theatrical release everywhere. Now that they are not, I think Amazon Prime Video is by far the best platform we can hope for. And I'm glad that Amazon Prime Video has backed the film and they believed in the film. Because within India, and especially in Kerala, I mean, theaters are still closed in Kerala, there really isn't a better option for people than to sit in the safety of their homes and watch Brahmam, on Amazon Prime Video. But we did manage to acquire theatrical release rights in rest of the world territories. And it is I don't know if people realize this, but it's a momentous occasion. Actually, it is a restart of our overseas theatrical business after a long gap, And for me, it is one of my films releasing in theaters after almost 2 years. So yeah, it is more important than we think it is. And I hope, and I hope people come and watch it in theaters and people watch it on Amazon Prime Video in India. And it's an interesting phenomenon at more levels than one. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it pans out.
Yeah, I think 9 was the last film that released in your film that, right, in GCC or?
No, I think it's Ayyappan Koshi.
Oh, okay, fine. Yeah. So you are now shooting for Gold, right?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Is there something you can say about that? Or, of course, it's Alphonse Putran's.
Yeah, that's it. It's an Alphonse Putran film.
So when do you finish?
It's got the longest cast list I have seen in a film for a long time.
Oh wow!
So yeah, and I'm not going to start saying names because it won't finish by the time the interview is done. So
yeah, that's fine. So after that, you move on to you resume the shoot for Aadujithu, right? After this?
Or? No, after I finished Kadua.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best, Prithvi.
Thank you so much. Yeah.